Welcome to AI in 8 minutes or less, your daily AI update. Today, we are diving deep into the massive shifts happening in the Bittensor ecosystem. You know, that decentralized network where AI models basically compete and collaborate to create this global, open-source intelligence market.
And we're going to unpack that really powerful statement you see on screen and a whole lot more. We'll look at what's driving all this new attention, the dawn of these AI-run networks, and of course, how this is all going to impact the future of trading and investing.
So, here's the game plan. We'll start with the breakthroughs and big-name partnerships sparking all this new interest. Then we'll get into the wild idea of an AI agent takeover. After that, we'll see the new financial rails being built just for them, what trading looks like in this crazy new world, and finally, we'll get the expert outlook on what's coming next. So yeah, let's kick things off with the major breakthroughs that really put Bittensor on the map.
All right, so over the past month, two key subnets or projects on the network really triggered this huge wave of new interest, and they basically proved that the whole idea behind this network actually works.
Now, what's so interesting here is that you're seeing growth on two totally different fronts at the same time. On one hand, you've got Templar showing off its raw technical power. I mean, a 72 billion parameter AI model training run? That's huge, and it even got a nod from NVIDIA's CEO. Then, on the other hand, you have Targon locking in this high-level corporate validation with a major Intel partnership. That's crucial for handling sensitive corporate data securely. And this 1-2 punch had a pretty dramatic effect on the market.
170%. Wow. That massive move just shows you the market's explosive reaction. But the real point here is that these events are like the first dominoes falling. They're signaling that the ecosystem's potential is really just starting to get unlocked. And this foundation is now paving the way for an even bigger shift in how we think about these networks. So the next big development isn't just about building better AI models anymore. It's about the AI itself taking over the whole network's operations. And look, this isn't science fiction. It is happening right now.
We're seeing the rise of what people are calling agentic subnets. So just try to imagine an entire corner of this network where AIs are the customers, the workers, and the managers all running on their own. So you might be asking, how does an AI even take over a network? Well, a developer known as Const actually showed us exactly how.
In this process, it just shows a massive shift. So Cost, the developer, he funded an AI agent. That agent then went out and autonomously bought control of one subnet, and then it used that subnet to acquire another one, and the result, a whole part of the Bittensor ecosystem is now run by AI for AI. It's not just humans using the network anymore. AI is becoming the main customer.
Okay, so if you've got agents running subnets and doing business with each other, they're going to need simple, efficient ways to pay for things, right? That's where new solutions are popping up to build the financial plumbing for this brand new economy.
You know, anyone who has ever used decentralized finance knows what a headache it can be to move assets between different networks. It's complicated. Well, Subnet 7, which is also known as Allure, is tackling this problem head-on by creating a super seamless way to exchange value.
So instead of all those complex bridges, you just tell the miners on the network, hey, swap these assets for me. They all compete to find the fastest and cheapest route for you, and it completely skips the need for a centralized exchange. The end goal here is a simple app on your phone for instant payments. And this really matters, because it's building the essential plumbing for a future where trillions of tiny transactions could be happening every single day, all run by AI agents.
With all this activity, you know what comes next. New platforms are emerging to let people speculate and hedge on all these assets. But of course, they come with their own unique opportunities and dangers.
So platforms like MegaTau and Xerox Markets are introducing what's called perpetuals trading. Think of it like crypto derivatives, specifically for the Bittensor ecosystem. And these tools, well, they're enabling some pretty sophisticated new strategies that just weren't possible before.
For example, traders are now using something called a delta-neutral strategy. It's clever. They can hold a high-yield subnet that might be paying, say, 50% APY in staking rewards, while at the exact same time shorting it on one of these new exchanges. What this does is it cancels out the price risk so they can just pocket the yield. Pretty cool, right? But in this new, low-liquidity world, there are some pretty significant risks you need to know about.
Because this market is still so young, it's really vulnerable. A single large trader could potentially manipulate prices. We've also seen how a ton of hype around one subnet can suck all the liquidity out from everywhere else, causing other assets to crash. So the main point is, while the tools are powerful, the volatility is super high, and managing your risk is absolutely key. Okay, so if human trading is this risky, how would an AI do it? Let's jump to our final section and check out the expert outlook.
This is one of the most fascinating developments yet. Subnet 88 is basically an AI-managed hedge fund, and it is setting a completely new bar for performance.
So, a typical human trader, right? They might do deep research on a few assets, trying to find that one big winner. But the AI on Subnet 88, it thinks completely differently. It diversifies across 80 to 100 different subnets. It's not trying to pick winners, it's just analyzing the flow of money across the entire ecosystem to generate steady, low-risk returns. And the results? They're pretty impressive.
This AI fund has been consistently pulling in 15 to 20% monthly returns just by riding the tide of the whole ecosystem. Now, this brings us to the broader market. While experts see some potential short-term trouble for Bitcoin, they actually believe Tao's powerful AI story could allow it to decouple and outperform. In fact, if you look at the chart of Tao priced against Bitcoin, it looks incredibly bullish.
So what's the big piece of advice from the experts in this space? They're saying, stop getting so caught up in the short-term dollar value. The real goal is to accumulate as much of the actual asset, Tao, as you can. You just got to zoom out and focus on the much bigger picture.
And this, of course, brings us to the final, really provocative question that this whole trend brings up for the future of finance and, well, our place in it. I mean, if an AI can consistently outperform human traders by just thinking in a fundamentally different way, what does that mean for the rest of us? If you enjoyed this, subscribe to AI in 8 minutes and never miss what matters.